It's some time since I did the last video. I thought I'd do one this time on technology. I'll do it in two parts. The first bit about the sort of household technology, not computers and all that sort of stuff, but just how you got through the week in the house. It's going back a bit. I was born in 1929 in Westmoreland, which is now part of Cumbria. Very rural area, long way from everybody. And no electricity. That was the big problem in terms of technology. We did have water supply, yes. We didn't have gas, mains gas. We didn't have mains sewage, but we did have a septic tank, which sounds pretty awful, but it actually worked all right. So that was okay. Although for a long time we didn't actually have a toilet, a proper WC as it were. When I was very small we had a loo outside which had to be emptied. It was actually a two-seater job, but that's another story. We'll not go into that if you're having your dinner or something. Right, so my mother didn't have a paid job after she got married because she had children. She had 4 children and all the housework to do. Washing day was a big day. There was no washing machine. There was a copper in the kitchen that my dad had built as an extension. It was it was a large metal tub built into the kitchen with a fire underneath. You had to light the fire, fill it up with water first, then light the fire, get the old washing in, quite a lot of washing for 6 in the family, and then get the washing out of the copper and into what we called a post tub, which rather like a big tub, rather like a waste, like a big dustbin type thing. And then the washing went in there in the water and had to be agitated. We called that a post tub, and we had a thing called a post, which was like a wooden 3-legged stool on a post, and you put this in and you agitated it and got the old stuff. Rather like it sort of agitated the washing like the original washing machines did. And then out it came and through the mangle. We had an old, very old cast iron mangle with wooden rollers, and you turned the old crank and the wooden rollers went round and the washing went through, all the water squeezed out, and then you could hang it out to dry. And then probably next day you would iron it. Iron to be put in the fire to be heated up, and then put into what looked like a sort of stainless steel case, and then you could iron the clothes. Yeah, but washing day was a full day. There was really no time for anything else. Baking day was pretty big. We baked in an oven on the side of the fire. We had a big sort of fire, a range as it was called, with an oven on one side, a fire in the middle, and a sort of hot water boiler on the other side. And above it was a sort of shelf and a bar that you could hang washing from to dry. So the bread and the cakes and the scones and the biscuits or whatever else my mother made had to be done in the oven. So you could pull a little lever, a damper as it was called, and the heat from the fire, the flames from the fire would go under the oven, round the oven, and get it hot. And in would go your bread or whatever. Now, I don't know how my mother managed it, but she could bake in that oven, bake anything. No temperature gauge or anything. And it depended on how hot the fire was, but it worked. Heating, no central heating. We had a fire in each room. There was the big one in the living room. There was one in the front room. But that was only, the front room was hardly ever used actually, except at Christmas. And when any posh visitors came, which hardly ever happened. And, excuse me. And there were fireplaces in the bedroom, in each of the 3 bedrooms. And the only time that I can remember a fire being lit in the bedroom was when I was ill. I was always ill as a young lad. Yeah, I was always a bit poorly. And on this occasion I had, I think, what they called bronchial pneumonia, which was pretty dangerous actually in those days. I really was ill. I was in bed for several days. And they lit a fire, my mother lit a fire for me, looked after me. And I remember the district nurse used to come round to put a poultice on my chest, a hot poultice. And I don't know what it was made of, but it really was hot. And she would prepare this blooming thing and say, now look, I'm going to put this on your chest. It'll be hot. Tell me if it's too hot. She put this thing on and I'd say, hang on, it's too hot, it's too hot. And she'd say, all right, that's good, it must be just about right. And that was it. Obviously worked, I'm still here. So what else? Oh yeah, we had a wireless. A battery wireless. 2 batteries. One was the wet battery. It was like a car battery, you could recharge that at the garage. The other one was a dry battery, which you had to buy a new one when that ran out. So you were a bit careful about using the wireless. Excuse me. Must be that hot poultice. It's working at last. Yeah, we used to listen to, we had to be, you know, didn't want to run the batteries down. So we used to listen to him singing on a Sunday. There was Tommy Handley one night a week on Hitmar, It's That Man Again. And there was Dick Barton on every night, a quarter of an hour. That was brilliant. And then there was a telephone. We had a telephone put in because my dad during the war was an ARP warden. And I thought I suppose the authorities thought, well, we've made him an ARP warden, we better keep in touch with him, so they gave us a telephone. The good thing about that was that they left it in after the war and nobody came and took it out, so as far as I know it's still there. Crooklands 309, that was the number. And no direct dialing except for your local area. So you could dial anybody in Crooklands, but you couldn't dial them anybody outside. You had to go through the exchange. So you had to dial ho, and the woman on the exchange would put you through to wherever you had to go. And I suspect the old biddy on the exchange was listening to everything you said, but I don't know. I've no real proof of that. The other interesting thing was the phone box. We did have lots of phone boxes because there were no mobiles then, and you needed phone boxes. I remember the first time I phoned home from, sounds like a film, doesn't it? I phoned home from a phone box. It was quite complicated. You had to put a penny in, a big old penny, and then you dialed your number, or dialed the exchange, and when you got through, you pressed button A, and the penny dropped, and that was it. You'd had it. You'd lost your penny, but you could talk. You could talk. I think everything was on 3 minutes. You were allowed 3 minutes, and at the end of 3 minutes, you were told to put some more money in, or shut up. Yeah, and the other thing was, if you didn't get through, if there's no one there, you could press button B and get your money back. And as a kid, I remember going around with my mates, sort of pressing button B buttons to see if there's any money coming out, if anybody had left any. But they never did. Anyway, that's a little bit lots of more I could talk about. We'll leave it there. The next time I'll talk about what you might call real technology, like computers and iPhones and smartphones and all the other stuff that we have hanging about ourselves these days. So, okay, leave it there. Bye.